I've been playing a lot of VR games recently, and genuinely one of the best ones I've played is Into the Radius. It's to quickly go over what it is, reading off directly off the Steam page. Into the Radius is a single-player survival shooter in VR. Explore the picturesque zone filled with surreal landscapes and dangerous anomalies. Defend yourself with realistic firearms, recover strange artifacts, scavenge for loot, and uncover the mysteries of this unforgiving dystopian environment. That was a lot of lawyer speak to define this game. That's the best way I could really describe it as. Because it's not really about the game, it's more about the experience of playing the game, like what most VR games are. Sure, there's realistic guns, sure there's surviving and scavenging for loot, but this game is mainly about the environment and the feel or the vibe that certain areas give you. There's the first zone that you walk in, it's completely barren, there's a few encampments, you're right on the edge of this zone. The further in you get, the more industrial, residential areas you come across, and the more dangerous the area gets. There's not much lore to the game that I can go over, but it's mainly all of a sudden this anomalous radius orb in the sky appears, and then that ties in directly with certain anomalies, either taking the form of certain environmental effects, enemies, or actual things you can pick up and use. The enemies are the basic. There's the fragments, which just normally walk at you. There's the spawns, which are more spider-like, and then there's the mimics, the real problem of the Radius. They hold guns and they shoot you. And I don't know about you, but I'm allergic to bullets, and I will die. And there's the environmental effects. There's the repulsor, this white blob. Or there's the invisible one, just atomizes you. And then there's the certain artifacts you can find. That you find using a little device. It'll start beeping when you're close to one, eventually you'll discover it. They either have really high sell value, or gives you a certain effect. You can heal with it, see in the dark. You will never find the good ones. You will only find neons. But going back to the idea of the game is all about the aesthetic and the vibe, the gunplay is very realistic. You have certain magazines for a certain gun, you hand feed in bullets to reload the magazine. You have to actually pull back the gun to load it. And there's a chance, the more wear and tear a gun gets, that can just jam or misfire. But in order to combat the wear and tear, this is one of the parts that people most often gawk about. And it's because you can repair the guns. Get a little spray, start cleaning it. And that aspect really adds to the environment that you're in. Of just, instead of being out in the Radius, all this action-packed stuff, you're just back at your home base. Sat your gun down on the table and just start cleaning it off. Start organizing your base, start putting all the stuff onto the shelves. Which, if you've seen my last video on The Walking Dead, is something I quite enjoy doing, is a base you can either upgrade or customize in a sort of extent. There's not much to Into the Radius. It's still being updated, and there's not really quite a heavy story at the follow along. It's mainly just go out, get stuff, and come back, or complete these quests. There is a storyline of going out and doing a certain objective, but for the most part, it's really just a sandbox to that sort of extent. Also, to add into the aesthetic of the game, there are multiple different gameplay mechanics that come into play. First is the day-night cycle. If it starts turning nighttime, and visibility becomes a lot harder, if you use a flashlight, then enemies can see you a lot easier. that turns day, and it's just a lot easier to play the game because you actually can see. But every 3 days, and the timer on your little map will display, there is a wave. What this wave does is it completely resets the zones. Item spawns are back, enemies respawn, and you just get thrown somewhere random. A second game mechanic is also lore-based. You can come back when you die. Like if you somehow die into the radius, which you'll probably do often, is you'll just respawn and you have to go back into the radius to grab your stuff and then come back or continue. The third mechanic is more game-like. You have to carry food on you because there's a hunger bar that's correlated with stamina as well. You eat with a knife. You have to grab a knife and then start just digging at it. It's that those little tiny things that really add to the experience of the game. Now, there's certain stories I have about when I played this game that really just like fully highlight what this game's about. In the first one, I was in a zone very new to the game, roughly in the middle of the first map. It was nighttime. Walking around looting, trying to be quiet, and I hear someone talking, which I didn't know this at the time, but it was a mimic.
Ain't no bitch.
Which freaked me out, because, you know, I'm alone in the zone, and then all of a sudden I hear voices talking to me. So I'm hiding, and then I start just walking out, trying to get building to building. And I see, oh, it's completely dark, but I see an even darker creature just book it to the side. And it starts firing at me. I know it's a horror game, but I didn't really expect it to hit me that hard. So I just booked it in a straight line. Which, you know, ended in me panicking, running into multiple anomalies, but, you know, that's just how it be. Second story is, in order to do one of the missions, I had to place a bomb on one of the doors. It means I had to march through a factory that was full of mimics. And, you know, didn't go too well. Because I was in the radius, into the entire zone, for, in real life, multiple hours. But in the game, I was coming at the end of the 3-day limit, almost hit the wave, so I had to just run through, try and grab all the stuff I could, and make it to the actual quest item, and then run all the way back. It's a certain, like, sense of urgency makes the game really fun, because you can just sit around in the radius and just do nothing, and then, like, on like a tall little building, start sniping mimics or fragments or whatever you want to shoot at. But if you actually want to get stuff done, there's a sense of urgency of there's a time limit. It could go wrong. I think it just really adds the experience to the game. I've been gawking about this the entire time on stream recently, but it's just genuinely such a fun game that more people should play. And I'm so pissed off that it was not nominated for any, like, VR Game Awards. Like, at least nominated. But this was my, unhinged rant about Into the Radius. Definitely check it out if you're a fan of VR games. Or, hell, even if you have the opportunity to play VR, get this game. It's one of the greatest ones. It really shows like what VR is capable of. I'm fully excited for any updates to come out, because I know they're just going to enhance what's there. Definitely check out Into the Radius if you can. If you can't, get VR. It's really fun. This has been Radius Explorer Crabman, signing off. Here at the end, I want to quickly go over what this channel will be doing further on. A lot more of this stuff is going to happen. I plan on posting once a week. I won't be posting only game reviews. I want to branch out a bit. So please like and subscribe. I'll be posting and you don't want to miss out on my wonderful, beautiful face. But anyway, like and subscribe. Do it. I see you. Go click down. You watch this entire video. You owe it to me. You owe it.